Hello everyone, and welcome to my Cerberus slaying guide. In this guide, I will be showing you the low-level setup, which is if you don't have the money for the high-level setup, and the high-level setup. Both are pretty effective. The low-level setup obviously won't be as good, but is still pretty doable, and you will still get quite a few kills per hour. Also, this is not range. This is only for melee. So this will be what we use for the welfare setup. You will always want to have your Slayer helm or Black Mask if you don't have a Slayer helm, but I obviously recommend having a Slayer helm just because you're probably going to have it anyway. Obviously, you can upgrade the Glory to a Fury if you can afford it. I'm assuming you probably can. I just didn't have a Fury in my bank because I just don't have a use for one, so I'm using a Glory in this setup. But if you can afford a Fury, then go ahead and buy one. Also, if you ended up upgrading your Dragon Defender to an Evernick, which I don't know if you have this gear, you probably have a Dragon Defender, but if you have an Evernick, then obviously use it. But yeah, everything here can be changed to however fits your needs for your bank value. Obviously, the max cape is just a fire cape, so just pretend that's a fire cape instead of a max cape. And anything else, like if you don't have Barret's gloves, you can constitute those out for whatever your best in slot glove is, and etc. Now, you're also going to want to have a spec weapon. So I have a Crystal Halberd, and that's because it's really good at Cerberus, and it's also extremely cheap. It's not free because you have to pay to upgrade it, but it's extremely cheap overall and very good. Also, you don't have to have a Spectral if you're too poor to afford one. Cerberus will make you money, and eventually you'll be able to afford one, so if you can't afford one yet, you don't have to have one, but it will make your life a lot easier. And this is what the high-level setup should look like. Now, you can, again, constitute out anything that you can't either afford or don't have. However, I do highly recommend using a Grazi Rapier if you can afford one. They are very good at Cerberus, and as well as an Evernick Defender if you possibly can afford one as well. If you can't afford either of those, Dragon Defender will work, and if you have no other way to get a melee weapon, I guess you could use a Tentacle Whip, but it's not too great. Alternatively, if you can afford it and you don't have an Evernick, I do recommend using an Abyssal Bludgeon. You won't need a Defender, though you could also constitute a Hasta, so you can switch to your Spectral if you do get a Bludgeon. Zamorak and Hasta is pretty good at Cerberus. It's way better than the Tentacle Whip. It's just worse than the Bludgeon, and it's worse than the Rapier. But if you can't afford Bandos, you can obviously constitute out that and or any of the other things. But this is pretty much what you want to wear for max setup. Obviously, if you have an Infernal Cape, that is best in slot. I just don't have it, so Fire Cape is my best in slot. But anything else you may have can be obviously changed in this setup. Again, in this setup, I have the Crystal Halberd. You could use Dragon Claws, but realistically, Dragon Claws and Halberd are pretty similar. I prefer using the Halberd personally, but that's just my opinion. You could use Dragon Claws. They work very well as well. So this is how I set my inventory up. I also ate an angler already, so you can see that I'm above 99 HP, and I, on top of that, still have 2 more anglers in my inventory. Those are just if I do have high HP, but I do want to go above just to be safe, or just for combo eats if I absolutely have to. They only do heal the same amount as mana rays, so you don't actually need them. I just prefer having them. I also have 6 restores. You could up that to 7 or 8 if you wanted to. Sometimes I do bring more than this. I'm just showing this amount because this is a pretty good amount usually for me. But if you don't have a Spectral Shield, you will 100% need more. You'll need like at least probably 10 of them. I also have a basket of strawberries. Now, why I have this is because each individual strawberry heals 6. There's 5 strawberries in here. So in this one inventory space, I can heal 30 HP, and that's pretty good because that's higher than both the manta ray and obviously the anglerfish. You don't need to bring this. You could also bring a brew if you wanted to. Well, that's unfortunate. You're also going to want a super combat potion. Now in my inventory, you'll also see I have a construction cape and a crafting cape. Obviously, if you don't have those, that's okay. Instead of these capes, you could use a house teleport tab and a other teleport to a bank if you don't have either of those, but that is what I'm going to be using for this guide. How to get there. First, I have a construction cape, so I'm going to use this to teleport to my house, but if you don't have that, then just use the house teleport tab. But teleport to your POH however you can. Once you're at your POH, make sure that you have an ornate rejuvenation pool. If you don't have one, then I guess your teleport to the bank will be a ring of dueling, and you'll be going to Clan Wars to reset your stats. But if you have one, obviously use it if you have lower stats. If not, leave your portal. Make sure you set your house to Taverley. Once in Taverley, run south. Keep going south until you hit the dungeon. Alright, once you get to the dungeon, go down the ladder, and if you only have 70 agility, use the pipe and run around the black demons. If you have the agility level for the strange floor, which I believe is 84, go ahead and use the obstacle. Now these can poison you, so just be aware of that. If they do poison you, you want to go and bank, because you don't want to have to deal with that. But you don't. There's no point of bringing an anti-poison because Cerberus will not poison you. Now just enter this dungeon and you'll see a keymaster. Now once you're at the keymaster, there's 3 paths. All 3 of these paths will just lead to the boss. There's just different rooms. There's 3 per world, so you can go to whichever one you prefer. I always like going to the west one. I just feel like it's closer, even though it's not really. I just prefer it. And once you're here, right click it to peek. And it says right there that no adventurers inside. That means that it is completely free right now, or the guy's banking. So if the guy's banking, unfortunately, I wouldn't know. So for now, I'm just going to have to assume it's empty. But yeah, so you just turn the lever after you know, and once you're in, the fight will begin. So to begin the fight, just run all the way north, and normally there will be a fire here where you have to click through and you will take a little bit of damage. Fortunately for me, it's not there. Put your quick prayers on. Your quick prayers should be set to magic and piety. I have protect item 2 just because it doesn't actually take that much. And just attack Cerberus. Very easy and straightforward. Until it gets into the fight a little bit. That was a bit of a lag. But so far, no mechanics. Alright, there's Naru. So what you want to do is equip your Spectral, and then what Runelight will show you is what you're praying. So magic, melee, and then range. Once you've prayed all of those, put your Vernic Defender back on, switch your prayers back to Mage, heal your prayer up a little bit, and continue the fight. Some of his basic attacks will hit you quite high, but you want to mostly avoid the spirits and the Gur attack. So he can Aru and Gur at the same time. I'm assuming he will do it this time. Yes, he did. So there's a Gur, and that's how you avoid it. Again, just protect against the spirits. Now my prayer dropped, so I will take damage. But sometimes if you make sure you keep your prayer high, you will not take any damage in that sense. But that was when both happened at the exact same time. Just unfortunate for me that I didn't have a higher prayer level, or I wouldn't have taken any damage. Now I'm just going to eat a food so I can pick up my dragon bones, which I just got as a drop. Awesome. I'll show you one more kill. So again, just attack. You can heal up if you want. I'm going to heal up just to show you. So when you remove the strawberries, you can remove one if you have one inventory space empty, but if you have multiple, you can just empty it and it'll take as many as you can hold. So just remove it, and as you can see, it heals a +6. So you can use these for like if you're what my HP is right now and you just want to heal up to a higher HP to be feeling safer, or if you have like no food left and that's all you have, it'll help you stay for an extra trip, which is always nice. So yeah, just protect against these guys, heal up your prayer, and continue attacking. Switch back to your Avernic Defender. You don't want to be using the Spectral to melee. You won't be hitting as high, and it's just not as worth it. Obviously, you want to have your Avernic on. So yeah, again, so I have 2 inventory spaces free now, so I can just right-click this and empty. As you can see, it then puts both in my inventory at the same time, which is great. Again, it's a Ruing. I'm just going to heal up and heal up. Oh, it didn't matter, but you just want to make sure you have a high HP level, because if you do mess up on the spirits, it will hurt. Also, make sure your prayer is above, I'd say, 50. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all you need to know to be able to do Cerberus pretty effectively. Now I'm going to show you with the halberd specs. So just equip your halberd. I accidentally attacked it with an auto hit, and then you just spec. That one hit double zeros. That one hit a 50 and a 0, which is pretty nice. 50 hit. And then that one hit a 47-21, which is really nice. And as you can see, that took out a big chunk of his health. So if you do Cerberus with this method, you should make roughly 2 million GP per hour on average. A Cerberus task will take you multiple hours, but you have a very high chance of receiving a boot drop. If you get a primordial boot drop, that is around 26 mil profit, which is crazy. Though you have the same amount of chances to get a primordial as you do to get a Pegasian, Eternal, and also a Smoldering Stone. Eternal and Pegasians are obviously the best too. Smoldering Stone is still a mill, which isn't that bad, but if you get Pegasians, well, have fun with that, as it's only 140k, I believe, at this point in time, which is pretty bad. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope this guide helped you out, and I hope that if you never knew how to do Cerberus before, now you do, and what gear to use. If this guide helped you, please give it a thumbs up, and also subscribe to my channel. I make a lot of other guides, including money making guides, and I also make guides like this. So if you do like it, please give me a sub, and that'll be much appreciated. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.